everyone, welcome back to our channel, a channel for young Christian minds. Welcome back, fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. And if you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Nomonde, in case you didn't know. So welcome to the month of March, a month I've decided to call my grateful month, a month where I will be sharing with you my testimonies on how God has been coming through for me. And a little backup story. I wanted to make this month my grateful month because I have been going through a tough season in my life where I'm just crying a lot. I'm complaining a lot. I asking a lot of questions to God, and I wanted to say to myself, to encourage myself and encourage you, to say, you know what, Nomonde, you might be praying for something now and you still don't have it. But look back and realize how God has been there for you, and He will definitely show up for you even now, right? So I wanted to just encourage me, encourage you. Let us be encouraged together. And I just decided to make this month my grateful month to encourage myself and also you. So every week I'll be sharing with you a testimony, right? Obviously, I could share more than 4, but because I just decided this month is going to be my grateful month, therefore I'm going to share 4 testimonies every week. So this is going to be a bit of a story time. So I'm going to share my testimonies in a story version, right? So let's get right into it. So I have my water because I'll be talking a lot, so I need to hydrate. So this is how I was almost raped by my pastor. So it happened that we get into a new church. My mom was invited by a friend, and then obviously the whole family went to that church, and then we liked the church. But still very small, you know, when the church is still starting, where you worship at someone's house. That was the case until we moved to our own space. Okay, so I don't know how it happened that my family and the pastor grew so close to each other, but we were so very close to each other, to a point where I felt like, oh, finally I have a father. Knowing that I grew up without a father, I was raised by a single parent. And do check out that video where me and my sister talk about how that experience was. So I have always been that person who has this gap, who has this thing of just saying, I want to have a father, I want to experience how it is to have a father. Especially when I was younger, I used to have that gap so much until I met my pastor, and he fit right in, and I could feel how it is to have a father, how it is to be a daddy's girl, how it is to say, Dad, I miss you, or to call someone dad, because I've never had that before, right? And he was that kind of a pastor. He was not only my spiritual father, but he was also a father just physically in life in general. So we had a good relationship. He would take me and my sister out to have lunch and have that daily time, and I loved him so much. Like I don't know, I was like, oh my goodness. To me, it was a prayer answered to say, finally, I have a dad, because my dad failed to love me. And he made me feel like you also deserve to be loved. You deserve to have a father. You deserve to call someone dad, right? Because those are the questions I used to ask myself. Don't I deserve to have a dad? Don't I deserve to have a father? All those kind of things. And when he came into my life, he played that part so well to be a father. Yeah, we were so close. He would treat us like his daughters, especially me, because I was so clingy to him. Like literally, I loved him so much. And he was a good dad. I don't want to lie on that part. Before this dark side came, he was a very good pastor and a good dad. He was a good pastor, Sondweni. He was that street pastor. You know, our pastor couldn't see you with the boy. He was street. You can't wear short things. He was so street as a pastor and also as a parent, but it just worked. He was a good guy. Until something happened in the church, a lot of drama transpired, and my mom decided to leave the church. But because my mom knew how I felt with my past and how I'd find a father, she was like, okay, you can still go because this is between me and the pastor and the other members of the church. So you can still go. So she allowed me to still go because of that reason. So I still went there. I was in a praise team at that church. I used to do a lot of things because obviously I was the pastor's favorite, until he started saying to me, because at that time I didn't have a phone where a smartphone. Let me just put it like that. I didn't have a smartphone, so I had a phone where we used to talk using SMS. So he would send me airtime so we can talk using SMS, because he couldn't come to fetch me at home to take me out or to practice, because he would fetch me if there are rehearsals and stuff. So he couldn't do that because they had their own thing going on with my mom and the church and all of that, and my mom was still angry. I couldn't see me as often. I couldn't see him as often. The only time I could see him was at church and after church, just those few minutes, and I went home. So this one time he takes me and he says, you can't let your mom see that we're still talking and we're texting, because she would get so mad, because she's still mad at me and the church and whatnot and whatnot. So you can't let her see you that we are talking. And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, right? Because I mean, my mom is still mad, and obviously there's drama happening, so she would obviously have a problem with me talking to him. But my mom didn't have a problem, because she didn't stop me from talking to him, because she knew how much I loved him. So I'm like, it makes sense. At that time I was young, I was very young. I think I was doing grade 4, grade 5. So I think I was like, what, 9, 10, 11, around that time. So I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. So I'm not gonna tell my mom that we're still talking. So now I started being all shady about it and all secretive, started hiding my phone. And you know how you're secretive as if you're hiding something, and you are hiding something. So it was that scenario, until my mom is someone that pays attention a lot. Like right? And then she started noticing that I'm acting all shady with my phone. And she suspected something was going on. And then she started wanting to see my phone, and I would get all defensive and stuff. And that's where she knew something was up. Until one day, I don't know how she got my phone, or I left it, I went to play or whatnot. She saw messages where the pastor was talking to me in a sexual manner. Naive me, I didn't even know. All I could see was this guy who's a father. All I could see was a chance of me having a father. I couldn't even see. And my mom started looking at those messages where he was talking about how he wished I was there to touch me, to feel my skin. Just very trashy things, like wrong things to say to a kid. And for a married guy, because he was married. And the one that hit my mom the most was when he said, I wish you were here. I am so horny right now. I didn't even know what horny meant at that time. I didn't even know. I wasn't even good at English. I couldn't even understand a paragraph of English at that time, because I went to a public school. English was not something that I grew up talking or hearing or reading. That was not. So I didn't even see. To me, I'm hiding the messages because my mom might not want me to talk to him. That's what he told me, right? But he knew that he was saying wrong things to me that he didn't want my mom to see. And my mom saw those messages and she said, never talk to Pastor so and so ever again. She got very, and I saw that she was angry, and I was like, oh my goodness, Dad did say this, right? Now it's confirming to me. He did say this. My mom would get angry to know that we're still talking, blah, 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 blah. And my mom was like, never talk to him again, this and this and this. Or otherwise, if you talk to him, I will take away your phone. And little naive me, I went back and told him. My mom found my phone, and he realized that we were still talking. She got angry, this and that, and he's like, but I told you not to show him. I don't want her to take away from me. You're my daughter. I love you so much. Blah 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 blah. Right? I'm like, oh my goodness, I made a mistake. And then he's like, we need to meet. We need to meet. He he says I don't know if he said a day when we should meet, where after school you should come by my house. I will buy you something, I'll buy you chocolate. That sounded like heaven to me. I'm like, oh, this guy loves me so much. Like, man, I have a dad. My mom, why would my mom want to take that away from me? Right? But I was still going to the church. So I would see him at church after church and talk to him just a little bit and just rush back home because I knew how my mom felt about the whole situation. So this one day, I think it was the day he said I should come and see him after church. And luckily the school knocked off early that day. Around 10, the teachers had to go somewhere, what. And I was like, ooh, this is a perfect time. I'm gonna go and see dad and get all my things that he had buy for me, and I'll go back home without my mom even noticing. Like, she would never know because she's at work. I'll go to him. By the time my mom comes back from work, I'm already at home, right? So I'm like, this is the whole plan, let me go. And I went to his house. When I just got into it, I don't know if I was about to knock or still in the yard, whatever it was, I felt so scared. And the thought of my mom finding out that I went to my pastor's house hit me, and I got so nervous, and I was like, what, my mom is going to kill me? Because my mom would beat you like very strong. And I got so nervous, I literally ran back home. And later that evening, because the guilt was just eating me up, I told my mom, namhlanje sisaphuma esikoleni, what I almost went to go and see Pastor so and so, but then I thought you would know, and I just panicked. And my mom, like, she, more than being angry, she was terrified. Like, you could see in her face how terrified she was. And she didn't talk to me about it that time. And then she ordered me never to go to the church again. And that was it. We never went to that church, right? And then years later, I think 3 years later, and then she sat down with me and had a conversation with me how I was almost raped. And I'm like, what? And my mom, she's like, I found out messages that say this and that. She asked me, what does honey mean? At that time, yes, I forgot that part. She asked me after seeing the message what honey meant. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, holy something. I don't know what I said. And my mom was like, "Oof, she can't even understand." And then 3 years later, she had the conversation with me that, you know how you love Pastor so and so, and how you were so. I got so angry. My mom said, you can't go to that church anymore. What? Because I didn't understand. I was a kid. I was like, this is the guy that loves me, that gave me a chance to have a father, because my father failed me, and my mom wants to take away that thing from me. And then when she had the conversation with me, she explained it to me. I got so scared. I was like, ooh, I don't understand, Lord, how you do it. How you protect us even in situations where we are so naive, and you just come through. And yes, there has been girls that he did sleep with after me, because like I said, we started the church with him. So when I got into the church, it was still small. We were the first group, rather, to say that. And then the following group, when we left the church, other people started coming to the church and whatnot. And he did sleep. There has been accusation of him sleeping with the girls in the church and raping them. Let me put it like that. Raping them and having a relationship with the young girls, all those kind of things. When I hear all those things, I am looking at the Lord and saying, I was not better, Lord. I didn't deserve for you to rescue me in that situation, but you did. And I couldn't say how grateful I am, because other girls did get raped, did get to sleep with him. I don't know if he forced himself to them, whether he made it look like they had a relationship or whatnot, but whatever happened, and it didn't happen to me. So this is my testimony to say, Lord, you have been there even when I didn't know you were there. At that time, I wasn't even serious about Christianity. It was just a thing of so I have to go to church. But he was there protecting me. Hence, I chose this man to say, I want to say thank you, Lord. I want to encourage myself and look back and say, He has been there with me even when I was the one who put myself in that situation. I was the one who was naive. And yes, He did take advantage of me because I was young, but I should have stopped talking to Him when my mom said, stop talking to Him, right? So I'm like, Lord, thank you so much that now I am sharing a testimony of almost, rather than the worst scenario where I was raped by a pastor, right? I just want to say, Lord, thank you so much. And I am sharing this to say, be encouraged. Know that He is there with you. I want us to look back together and see on of all the things the Lord has been there for us, and how He has protected us, and how He has been taking care of us, and come to a sort of conclusion to know that He will also take care of this, the situation that we are crying about, the situation that is bothering us now, the situation that has us asking so many questions. He will also take care of that in due time. So I wanted to share that testimony with you guys. I still can't even believe it myself. I couldn't believe it when my mom told me. I couldn't believe it when 2 years later I had accusations of him sleeping with this girl. Girls that I know, girls that I grew up with, girls that are in my hood that he slept with. I couldn't believe all those things happened, and it just becomes more and more to me that that day he could have raped me. There was no way he could have not raped me, because this is something that he does. I do want to say he is a good person. He is a good pastor. I just think he needs deliverance. He has a spirit that he needs deliverance from, because he was a good pastor. He was managing the church so well, and also he managed to be a parent to all of us in the church, whether you were older or younger. He was that pastor that was there, but he had this dark side to him, and I don't know. I only pray for his deliverance, and I don't know. He's not arrested. I don't know what is happening on that part, but I am praying that one day he gets deliverance and he sees that what he's doing is very, very wrong. But that is my testimony, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below if you also have a testimony where God has rescued you from something. And like I said, I will be sharing my testimonies throughout the whole of March. Like I said, so this is gonna be my testimony slash story time. Yeah, so see you on the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you're encouraged by this testimony as I am encouraged myself. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe guys, please, and do share this video with your sisters, with your uncles, everyone that you know. Just share this testimony with. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you I'll see you next week on my next video when I'm sharing my second testimony. Bye.